You're getting your inspiration taken, Tom.
Damn it!
Well,
Okay.
there we go. Now we're live.
Alrighty. Welcome back, everyone, to tonight's session of Keepers, Daggers of Darkhold. Where we last left off, our party managed to pull off a successful heist, even though it took like a bajillion sessions.
4, thank you very much.
Anyways, after getting paid and being put up in a new little safe house, the party got a chance to relax for a bit. Till our resident bard, Zackary, got a letter in the dead of night from a mysterious figure that they seem to know. But with that out of the way, you all awaken from your long rest to a slightly rainy morning. It's a rather cool spring morning. Air is somewhat heavy, and all the while it feels somewhat homely with the fire in the fireplace. What would you all like to do as you wake up?
Let's see. I think, if, like, as we're, like, kind of, like, in the safe house, Maramil will probably be sort of walking downstairs, probably waking up quite early, and, just, doing a sort of, like, kind of doing rounds around the rooms, not really knocking on them or, like, snooping or anything, just kind of making sure that everyone is alright, and if everyone is alright, we'll be headed downstairs to kind of make sure everything's cleaned up, basically.
Do you check up on Izumi?
As I said, I'm not opening or knocking on any doors.
Okay.
I'm just walking past and, like, trying to, like, listen out of,
Oh, wait, what?
is anyone okay? Like, is everyone okay?
Wait, hold on, when did Izumi take that room?
At the start.
Because last session I established Isobel put her stuff down in there.
Well,
chat.
your
No.
stuff is, in a booby trap room now.
I mean, you could just take this whole room for yourself.
Yeah, I'll do that.
Line up all 4 beds to make a super
Oh, yeah,
size
no,
bed.
she has done that. She has now made, like, what is that? That's not even a queen or a king size. That's, like...
That's a, monarch
Emperor
size. Emperor size.
Okay, to let y'all know, these are all like twin size beds, so they're not very big, but it's more like you can sleep on it comfortably,
But, you know,
unless you're really tall.
But still, 4 of them together? That's gonna be big.
Yeah. Honestly, a buddy of mine did that in college, and it was the stupidest thing ever. He had a super mattress, but I digress. Oh yeah. So, if you walk past, is anyone? Everything seems to be relatively clean from the other night. It seemed your compatriot, Samire, tidied up around the general lounge area, if you call that a single table, some chairs, and a fireplace a lounge area.
I do wish that girl would take a break sometimes. But I suppose it's all for the best. Kind of wiping down the tables, and yeah, like if it seems that like nobody's really awake, like very like early in the morning, Maramil will probably actually like sit around for a bit and like what time is it right now? Like, because I would say like Maramil would wake up like really early.
I'd say it's okay. Do you have the keen mind feat?
I do not know.
It is early morning then.
Early
If you
morning.
had the keen mind feat, I would tell you straight up what time it is.
Yeah.
'Cause you guys don't have a clock.
Yeah, we poor like that. But so in that case, Marma will like sit around for like maybe like half an hour and decide like just taking like a little break. And later, like just kind of like as the kind of like sun sort of like well, obviously it's raining, but like as the sun sort of like, seems to rise a bit further, we'll actually start trying to like, like just preparing like a humble breakfast for everyone. Nothing too fancy. And Maramil doesn't have chef supplies or anything. But they're gonna try to like just like make a humble breakfast for everyone.
Fortunately, the keepers did provide y'alls with at least essentials in like some cupboards. One thing you would notice there in the little kitchen area right behind the little bar seems to be like a little uh foot locker that's oddly cold.
Hmm.
Uh, if no check needed, because this is a common item, you would know this as a chest of preserving, basically a D&D, a fantasy refrigerator.
Yep.
So at least you got some like eggs, some meats
Yeah.
that actually fit, but it's not a very big chest. It's probably like I'd say half the. I'll freehand draw. So from here to here, that's about as long as it is. So you got like a mini fridge.
Yeah. Alright. Yeah, so in that case, like yeah, like it's nothing it's nothing too thing. It's just, like eggs and meat. But yeah, Marmo will just kind of like start cooking and the way they cook is probably honestly quite novel. Because they've not really changed their ways since they were young. Uh it would be like relatively old, sort of like like the way they prepare the egg, like the eggs, and like they lay it out with the meat, very much like anyone from kind of uh, around like 300 years ago or so. Anyone who was around there would kind of would be able to recognize it as like you know sort of classical elven breakfast.
Okay.
What should I roll for cooking?
Uh, either a with. Okay, so you got cook's utensils in the kitchen, obviously.
Yeah,
Uh,
not particularly good at using them, but I got +4 wisdom.
give me, give me a wisdom check.
Yeah. I will also obviously grant myself guidance. So
Hmm.
that'll be a 13.
With a 13, you make a hearty breakfast for everybody. It's not great. It's not bad.
Yeah.
It's decent.
Yeah. It's not the greatest cooking in the world at all. But you know, it's got that homely imperfection.
Alrighty.
Not sure if anyone would be like kind of coming down at this point, but yeah, Maramil. That's what Maramil will basically be doing.
Uh, let's see. Going down the line. What does Malum do waking up,
Well,
seeing Zackary stirring?
yeah. If Malum sees Zackary, he's like, "Ah, shit. Needs to be quiet."
Zackary is just like sitting up on the bed, Undertaker style. Masako, just like staring at nothing in particular. By the way, he, when he sees Malum trying to like pass him by. I mean, come on, bro, we're in the same room.
Yeah, no,
there's way
but
I can't see.
he's not stealthing. He's just, you actively see he's trying his best to not make a sound.
Like when he sees Maramil like at the door, he will just kind of go, "Hello."
Yeah, just kind of yeah, like it. Yeah. Oh, did you mean Malum?
Oh, I said I
Yeah.
meant Malum. My bad. Sorry. I said
Yeah.
Malum.
Okay,
my
we're
bad.
similar names.
Sorry.
We've got MAs.
Don't worry about it. But yeah, Malum is like, fuck. What? Couldn't you have warned me earlier? I did so my best to keep quiet for you.
No. I
What do you mean?
apologies. It's not It's not often that I have. Sorry, I'm having a hard time doing the Zackary voice again. It's not often that I have. Well, these strange mornings. One day we were sleeping somewhere else. Now we're sleeping here. Place
Oh?
location permanence is strange.
And maybe we'll sleep somewhere else tomorrow. Welcome in our lives.
Yes. Right. Excuse me, Mr. Malum. A completely hypothetical scenario. If I would be able to pose this to you.
Yeah, do tell.
If you were to receive
Malum.
Mr. Malum. If you
Malum.
were to receive a strange, ominous letter from your past that indicates that those who would wish you harm may know of your location and may or may not be rapidly approaching it.
I hate you.
Or wish for you to rapidly approach their location. What would you do?
Well, depends on who it is. Like, is it as bad as, let's say, just a random house or my mom? Or is the queen angry at me? Please tell me it's not the queen.
We challenged our team.
He kind of like I heard something in the background. He kind of just like begins to open his mouth as if to speak, but then kind of seems to think. He doesn't close his mouth though. Like he still has his mouth open while thinking. And then says, a family
Ah,
is the one behind the message in this completely hypothetical scenario, Mr. Malum.
yes, yes. He does the active air quotes completely. Whatever. Listen. In that case, I would make ready for war. I would tell as many allies as I have and get ready to either fight or be dragged down.
He stares, almost as if expecting you to continue from there.
So, in this situation of yours, we need to prepare. I'm here to help you, Zackary. Trust me, nothing can go wrong with me by your side.
You say that as the DM remembers this.
He will just kind of stare at you like completely like blankly and just goes, so all the times we got hurt and things went sideways during the previous operation was all part of the act?
Yes, exactly. All in the name of chaos, you know? Never let him know your next move.
I see. Improvisation is the soul of creativity. Okay,
So-
go ahead.
Let's be honest here. Who is after you? How strong are they? How
No
many
one.
numbers?
They're not, no, none.
He gets ancients away from your face. Tell me, I'm here for you.
Please. Move. I have to eat. And he gets up from the bed and begins to step away.
That's a lie, and you know it. Get back here.
At some point, when he's going down the hallway, he does begin to run up the walls and then on the ceiling until he gets to the stairs. In order to get downstairs.
Okay. So
Get your ass
y'all
back
head down-
here.
So y'all's just running down the stairs. Everyone else, you just this is like a somewhat refurbished house. It's kind of got. You kind of realize, oh yeah, this is a safe house for like a thieves guild because the floors are creaky as hell, purposely. So if you just
Here's Zackary.
run, you just hear.
You fucking
All the
wake
way down.
people up.
So yeah, that just wakes people up if they're not deep sleepers.
I slept better when I was fucking dead.
Maramil will kind of like, while like wearing like an apron that like says like kiss the cleric is spelled with a K, and just like just like flipping stuff and like frying. Dear Zackary, Malum Umbra, it looks like you have awoken finally. How was your rest? I hope it was quite uneventful.
My dreams are haunted by the presence of beings beyond your comprehension. They're pretty nice.
Malum behind him, waving his hands.
Well, it's always nice to have friends that you can rely on, especially in your dreams. Those are the best ones.
Exactly. So, now I'm here. Do tell us, Zackary. Well, do tell me. I'm good at keeping secrets, you know?
You should trust Malum Umbra. A drow is always good at keeping secrets, especially one from a house. Furthermore, a gambler always knows how to keep their hand close to their chest. I see no reason not to trust him.
He would be turning his head to each of you, like every time you talk, and you could
Yeah.
swear you hear the sound of stone scraping against stone every time he does. What's it called? He looks over and says, Mr. Malum seems to be under the impression that I am being haunted by the ghosts of my past. But only a side character would be going through that. Main characters like ourselves, we need not worry about such things.
Actually, isn't it most of the times the other way around? That the main character gets haunted more. That's why he's, the main character. Things happen to him.
Being haunted by the ghost of your past is so cliché. Could never be me. As he moves back and sits down at the table here, the bar counter, whatever it may be, and we'll say, so what's for breakfast?
Well, presumably nothing that you can eat. I'm still not entirely certain as to what your dietary requirements are, but I hope at least this provides a nice aesthetic for you to look at. And for you, Malum Umbra.
My dietary restrictions are spiders. And that's it. But didn't Sumire like to do the cooking?
Oh yes, she does, very much so. However, I take it upon myself to shoulder the responsibilities of the people that look up to me, even if they protest. Plus, Sumire is young. She still dreams, after all. So, she won't be up for a while.
I'm young as well, and I'm here.
Kind of places the plates down at the your tables and says, "Oh, pardon my assumption. I assumed that you are of many years like myself. How old are you?"
A young 111.
Ah, that explains it. Yes, quite young, but I assume you've. I suppose you never would have tranced traditionally. Well,
It's a pain in the ass. Don't bother with it.
You know
Wow.
that's illegal, right?
Yes, of course. My apologies. Up on the surface, however, much more tolerated. Sumire is of 19 years of age. She still is receiving the gifts of her ancestors in her dreams. So she does not have a true trance quite yet. That might be quite a bit hard to explain to you, Malavumbra, but I'm sure we can discuss it over a hearty breakfast. And good morning to you too, Isobel.
Yeah, which one of you assholes is making a ruckus running downstairs?
He did it.
Eat it.
Deception
I slept-
square off.
Yeah, deception square off. The 22.
Damn!
So close.
Does Isobel believe Zackary?
I'm gonna make an insight check.
You know these both of them were the cause of this. They tried to blame each
Just
other.
both of you, okay? I died, and that felt better than being waken up by you two making the ruckus like that.
I mean, if that felt good, why don't you go back?
Trust
Can't.
me, I would, if I didn't want to risk my eternal soul. I've risked that before. I don't quite feel like going back to the waiting room to be turned into a imp. So,
The machinations of Mephistopheles bring a horrible drought. The roots of Levistus bring a chill to the bone. All of Avernus quakes as they grasp and wrench their hands around the souls of mortals. Would you
Yeah.
like breakfast?
yes, actually I would. Also, Zackary, do you have a sending spell?
Do I have a sending spell? No. He will say, no, not to my knowledge. And then he turns to the left for a couple of seconds. He's like, as he sees Izumi just spawn in, I guess.
Morning, Izumi. Anyways, if anybody has a sending spell, there are 2 idiots who still owe me their souls, whose service I'd like to use.
Are these
Just
two-
remember the 2 criminals that we convinced in the murder investigation?
Ah, the lackeys.
Mm-hmm.
Then would it not be easier to send one of our contacts to track them down?
Well, you see, technically they are supposed to respond to my every command. So, therefore, or their soul is forfeit. Therefore, if they cannot respond to the command due to them being incarcerated, they fail to respond to the command. Therefore, I claim their souls. I can trade that in with my boss.
Isobel, make a history check real quick.
I know
Malum.
I gave the contracts to the. I gave them to Mazal, but I never officially signed them over. I gave them to him for safekeeping.
Yeah.
But
But this is for something different.
24.
Now, even though the contracts are binding, you never got their name, so you can't really use.
I mean, they signed them.
It was more of they wrote an X on a dotted line because they didn't know how to write, and they were desperate not to get killed.
That is true. We did know that they don't know how to read or write.
Yeah.
Because they both had, like... One dude had 7 intelligence, another dude had, like, 6. I rolled their stats, and they were so dumb.
Kind of like thinking is like, wait, I don't even think they qualify as souls. They were that stupid. Like, have you ever seen someone who is like old enough to be able to speak and commit crimes but can't read or write? Like, my God!
That is why many criminals turn to crime in the first place.
Like at that age, I was already casting 3rd level spells.
Ah, very interesting.
We
Unfortunately,
were taught cantrips before we could walk.
Oh.
Unfortunately, some people are not as fortunate to gain that sort of education. Will like as as Izumi, you say like rest was good, and Maramil just kind of nods and says, "Good. I would hate to have a horrible night's rest befall any of you, but you, Miss Izumi, strike me as the type of soul to be racked with that sort of thing. I hope you don't take offense to my saying that.
None taken.
Good. Well, I do hope you all enjoy the bare bones, eggs and meat. It's not quite the lavish meal that I would hope to bring to all of you, but well, resources are limited.
It is
Don't we-
go ahead.
Don't we miss 3 people before we can have breakfast?
Well, yes and no. Con- dear Constantine takes a long while to trance. Well, rather, he has a morning routine that requires meditation. As I've said, Sumire still dreams, and Harina is of a race that needs to get their beauty sleep.
Alright. As Malum starts eating.
Yeah. Tell me, have you ever seen how long a dragon sleeps for? It's quite interesting that half dragons have a proportionally similar sleep schedule.
How would you know this?
Oh, well, I've never observed a dragon myself. I would love to, however. That being said, her wings and tail have not quite come out just yet. She's still quite young as well. But my dear Karina herself is a white half-dragon. She's a hardy one, that one. In fact, I'm thinking of bringing her along on our next mission.
The longest I've seen a dragon sleep is 2 months, 12 days, 5 hours, and 25 seconds, I believe. If I counted correctly.
What type of dragon was that one, Miss Izumi?
I believe it was a bronze one.
Quite intriguing. Have any of you else have had encounters with dragons? I would love to chronicle them in the annals of my mind.
Have I? Okay.
Bard?
Oh, the bot is dead.
Are you dead?
I friggin' didn't click the button.
Yeah.
I was saying shiz. But
Oh, no!
hear me. Anyway, answering your question, actually, yes, you would have encountered a dragon, more specifically, purple dragons,
Yeah.
because some Drow settlements have sort of symbiotic relationships with purple dragons. Because of their regional effects, they can provide nutrients to areas for food in exchange for relaying information that they gather. So, you do know of a adult purple dragon near the settlement of Selelic.
Sorry to do this, but does it have a name?
I did come up with a name for
Alright.
it.
Oh, nice.
You ain't catching me lacking.
Hey, it wasn't meant to catch you
You
lacking!
ain't catching me lacking. You would know, at least in common, because Draconic be hard to pronounce as hell for names. Her name is Void Singer. Or at least that's what some people call her. Because how mysterious she is, and those who've claimed to see her seem to have stared into her eyes and seen the abyss itself.
So yeah, Malum would say. Well, ever heard of the name Voidsinger?
I don't think I have, but it is a fantastic name.
Yes, it was a purple dragon.
Ooh, a purple
Live.
one, you say?
Yes, lives nearby the place I grew up.
You know, I've heard of the machinations and toils of purple dragon matriarchs and patriarchs creating large information networks that span continents. I've never had the pleasure of encountering one, of course, but neither have I found much information in my books. It's quite interesting that you were in close proximity to one. Are they very common from where you're from?
Not necessarily common, but they find a way around. Like your information says, they are well known to gather information over all sorts of places. Really, if you ever want to know something, Purple Dragon has a high chance of knowing it.
Hmm. I see. I suppose I'll keep that in mind.
I could introduce you.
You don't obviously Maramil wears a blindfold, but you do kind of like see like the facial muscles, like their eyes do actually kind of like widen, and like their smile kind of like widens even like further. They kind of always have a permanently plastered smile on their face, but this one seems to be like genuine, or at the very least significantly different type of joy than they normally express, and they're just, oh, well, if you're offering, I would love to take the chance. Of course, you'll have to teach me the etiquette of meeting with a regal creature such as this majestic void singer, but I trust that you will help me navigate the ins and outs of conversation with this sort of being.
I could, but the etiquettes are so boring. He just eats while speaking,
Yeah.
grabbing it with the hands. Yes, even the eggs.
Yeah. Damn, I can't believe Malum's a Filipino. But Maramil just like says, yes. But wouldn't it be quite a funny comedy act? You, the chaotic, delinquent style. No need to flaunt respect because you carry it anyways. Next to the more lawful, subdued type, me, all respectful and perhaps I could play up you getting on my nerves. You would not, of course, but that could be quite the spectacle. Perhaps it could win the favor of, or at the very least, the amusement of Void Singer.
I know you're playing me, but you can just ask me to teach you. I'm sure you and Constantine will be happy to learn as well.
I believe that he just might. But if you are being genuine with that offer, and I would never assume that you are being genuine, of course, but if you are, when we have the time, I'd love to take some vacation days. I do hope the guild accepts vacation days.
Yeah, the biggest where you need to be around are other people down there and other monsters and such.
I suppose I suppose an elf of my complexion might raise a few eyebrows and pitchforks down there. Though it would be entertaining.
Although it would be easy getting you down as a... You know what.
Ooh. That might be fun to play. That is tempting. I do carry around a pair of manacles wherever I go, just for, well, various purposes.
Heck.
And what of you, dear Zackary? Have you encountered any beings of the draconic variety in your life? Was that Zackary, or like is he just like still just like looking at the food?
He seems to still be kind of like absent-minded.
Oh yeah.
You know, he's still kind of has just been staring at a food plate. You think he's been eating? Because he's in other segments of the food like missing. What's it called? Though you didn't really quite see him chew. What's it called? He would kind of like... It takes him a moment to register what, you know, that you're addressing him. But he eventually does kind of like look up and says, "Huh? What?"
Oh, I see. Well, I was merely engaging in idle conversation, but dear Zackary, is there something on your mind?
The camera zooms in and on Zackary's face as we hear screams. What's it called? All I hear are screams. What's it called? But he then, you know, he then kind of looks over and says, "That question has answers from which you are not ready."
Oh, trust me, you're not the only one with a cacophony of dark voices within your head at all times.
He leans in a little bit. "You hear them too?"
Kind of like leaning in a bit and saying, I believe I'm hearing a different chorus, but with a few familiar voices mixed in.
He looks around the rest to see, like, you know, are they reacting in any way to this conversation?
The two of them just like leaning in close to each other over the fucking table.
Malum, if anything, would look interested and is just slowly leaning in as well.
Izumi is tinkering with the jeweler's tools, but as this is going, her ears are like perked up, and she just kind of like very slowly begins leaning to like hear what's going on.
And Isobel?
Sorry, I'm sorting out some stuff on the side.
That's fine.
Around my stuff. What was asking me?
Basically, how is everybody like kind of reacting to Zackary and Maramil saying that they hear voices in their heads?
Well, I'm probably going to call that madness or insanity, but I guess the world did fall into the Underdark. And demons ran across the land freely for a while, so... I'm surprised people are sane, to be honest.
He looks back at Maramil and says, "Well, I suppose now that most of us are here, I can share some of the voices that are not in my head, but they are." And he kind of says in like a very confusing way. He sits back down. He leans back, you know, to where he was, his original position, and he says, "In truth, I have a confession to make. I wasn't always as amazingly gifted in the arts as I am, I know the tragedy. In truth,
Malum does an
go ahead.
extreme gasp, like, no.
Save your shock for later, Mr. Malum. For the best or worst is yet to come. In truth, I was once a mundane member of the masses, much like yourselves.
I was a young boy,
I was a young boy. My father
a vampire.
took me into the city. What's it called?
I hate you.
Like the worst part is that actually does kind of work for the.
Yeah.
thing. He says, when I was still trying to make my way in the world of the fine arts, I was approached by a benefactor. Foul people that they were. They told me and promised me that I would play the finest of musics, act the finest of plays, and live in the finest of places. Back then, when my mind was not open to the true nature of the world, I believed them. And now I find, eventually I found myself in their clutches.
I see. And how did you make your daring second act escape?
Ah, well, you see, in reality, this is still all part of the first act. I came across a collection of interesting artifacts that one of my benefactors possessed. Or possesses still, rather, I should say. The fool did not know what they had, and so I, made my way to them. I gazed upon some of these artifacts, and one of them resonated with me. It was then that I heard it. The shrieking chord that still I am unable to recreate through my music. It was then that my eyes were open. We are all but props on a stage of life. And my benefactors, former benefactors, were like hideous producers that interfere with the creation of the fine arts. So I used the abilities of such artifacts to escape. I could not hold on to them, however, but it was enough for me to make my getaway. That was the end of Act 1.
Bard, could I roll a check to see if I can, kind of, place that sort of, vision of, that striking chord with, a dark god?
Since it's very vague,
Yeah.
I'll say give me a religion check with disadvantage.
Yeah. I'll give myself guidance as well. 9, damn. Alright, instead it's a... 9, 10,
I mean,
11, 12, 13.
Don't you have your inspiration?
I do have inspiration, you're right. I'll use that, to reroll.
Alright.
Damn. That's a 14.
Okay, 14. You know, come to think of it, the flair for dramatics, the somewhat madness that Zackary has, well, somewhat. You're not sure if this is something akin to what he's been through or what deity might have reached out, but the mention of strange occult artifacts and interest unusual chords. You remember, this is vague, but some occult books floating around the libraries about a particular outer deity or eldritch horror, though references were vague, but it always mentioned an individual wearing yellow and giving creative individuals inspiration, whether it be writers finding their muse, artists finding their perfect, trying to find their perfect brushstroke, or actors or musicians looking for that one shred of song chord or that perfect line that seems to escape them. It always had something to do with the color yellow. You're not sure
Yeah.
why.
Maramil will kind of walk over, kind of placing their splaying their fingers out on the desk and leaning in and asking, dear Zackary, when you heard that destined shrill note, when you heard that cacophony of beautiful noise, would you say that in your mind's eye you felt the color yellow?
He thinks for a second. A long second. And he says, yellow's not really my color. But, in truth, my mind struggles to recall the precise details of the event. I only know I heard a chord. A sound, a music, as it were. I have a feeling if I were to once again delve deep into the annals of my former benefactor's collection, I will be granted higher clarity on this event.
See.
Are we
And
on
there... Go ahead.
Are we on spinning chairs?
No, it's
we're still
No,
It's stools.
they're not the spinning bar stool.
Alright,
It's just a regular stool.
You see Malum hopping in a
Yeah.
circle with his stool. And he says, "A heist, you say?"
No. I think heists are overplayed. This is, I'm afraid, something else altogether. Because you see, therein lies the problem. My former benefactors still live. And not only do they live, they have found out that I am here. As in this precise safe house, in this precise city, in this precise moment.
As you say that, a crack of lightning is heard, and you hear a knock at the door.
Zackary pulls out a shotgun. No, he looks over at the door, and you see that he begins to kind of hover like a hand over the damn.
Thank you.
Or hover hand over the bow of the Forgotten, his magical item that he uses to cast his spells.
Isobel just kind of looks at Izumi and is like, you trapped the door with a fire trap, right?
Not the front door one.
Okay. Do we have a gun in the area?
There is no gun.
Oh, what?
Malum gets his
Izumi begins
This-
tapping the door.
You just bother somebody on the other side. You just hear like, nope, that's not where the tripwire goes. Nope.
It's
Bomb
it's
goes
more
here,
like
huh?
this clank, 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 clank.
Yeah.
I know that's more like Izumi style. I just love the idea mentally of like her going, nope, that's not what not where the tripwire goes. Bomb goes here.
Luckily, I have my heavy armor on, and I grab my holy symbol.
Excuse me. Is it all right to come in? Rather wet. I
I
got a
don't-
package.
For your safety, I don't think it is okay to come in quite yet. Miss Izumi, if you would please.
Izumi just kind of like looks at you, just like looks at the door, thinks for a moment, tilts her head at you, adds a second alchemist fire to the trap.
No. Please disarm it for the hapless delivery man.
It's okay, Izumi. If he does anything, we'll fucking blast him to death.
just nods and like packs it up and just.
Uh,
Well,
yeah,
with any luck, the trap should be disarmed. Please come in and beg to roll well on the metaphysical icosahedron.
ready action. If
Y-
it
y-
seems he means
your-
harm,
Your
I'm gonna
what?
cast all poison.
Zackary is ready in action to action movie roll over the bar counter.
Okay. So, you say, does that mean I can come in?
Yeah.
Okay.
Is he actually
Go-
wearing that outfit, Bard? When he comes in?
He's got like a cloak over him because, well, it's pouring.
Alright, before you do anything, put the package down, take the cloak off. You're gonna catch a cold, you're gonna die if you catch a cold. Then you're gonna get sent down to the hells to be served the force in the infernal blood war. So take off the damn cloak.
You don't need to project so much, Isobel. He might be
No.
damned to another dark god.
He opens up the door, kind of confused. Okay. You got like a coat rack, a hat rack, or something. I don't know where to put it. And do you see this somewhat pale individual who's sopping wet, and he's holding like an envelope.
Come on, give me the envelope then.
Izumi looks at the person,
Mm.
looks at the rest of the party, and just kind of like just says, "We should interrogate him."
Oh, most likely.
It's been a while.
Zackary, upon here, we should interrogate him. Zackary doesn't say anything out loud, but thinks to himself, good idea. And you does the fucking Professor Xavier like pose of like two fingers over the side of the forehead. What's it called? And I'm activating detect thoughts because Zackary's super paranoid at the moment.
Okay, detect thoughts. Surface level thoughts. Okay, these guys are kind of weird. Is this I hope this is the right house. Lady paid me enough to get this out here, and it's piss raining.
Zackary takes his fingers off his forehead and just says, "This individual has passed the check."
Okay, so just hand over the letter and go sit next to the fire in case we need to send a return message. Warm yourself up.
Okay. And he just walks in, just not sure how to go about it, because right now it looked like folks ready for war, holding out like crossbows. He sees the start of a tripwire that's been rolled up, and he's like,
Maramil will kind of
They-
step aside and do like a bow of like, yeah, go ahead. But then in Izumi's ear will whisper, "You should go give them another more thorough talking to while they sit by the fire. We never know what sort of treachery we might be dealing with."
Well, Izumi takes out a crossbow from her coat and takes the trigger off. Puts it
And
back under her coat and begins walking.
and like before you do so, Marama will kind of like press two fingers to your forehead and just kind of say, "The desperation of Maglubiet." As I'll give you enhance ability wisdom to give you advantage on those insight checks.
Okay. I'll need it.
Hmm.
Follow me,
Izumi-
Maramil.
Yeah.
Yes, let's take a look at the letter we got.
Sorry.
Very well.
Zackary is hiding behind the the bar counter, as if this like a bomb diffuser situation.
Is
So
he
just
sitting there
looking-
like his
Go ahead.
fingers, like
Yes.
he's like sitting with his fingers on the counter, the head gently
Yes,
poking
yes,
up, and you're like,
yes. Exactly what he's doing. What's it called? Like there's a bomb diffuser situation. He's just watching from a safe distance.
keep your head down, or any shrapnel might take it off.
He, you see as he slowly like begins to go down the counter, but then uses what's it called? Minor illusion to make like two googly eyes appear at the top of the counter to still kind of like a view, quote unquote, situation.
Good job, Zackary. I've taken off one of my armrests. Fuck it.
Hmm.
Yeah, so Isobel will take Maramil to the dining area, but then you guys can do the other scene first.
Yeah.
Alrighty. So, Izumi, you come up to this guy who's warming up by the fire. You see he's a human, kind of gaunt. Probably like he hasn't eaten in a little bit. Somewhat pale. He's got some some kind of dark clothes. Yes. Interesting. Well, it was kind of cold today, so he's got like a neckerchief. He's got like a scarf and a bandana around him, probably to keep him warm. And he looks at you and's like, can I help you with something?
Who sent you?
Some lady, noble type from Zyla, paid me and said, come to this house in Vidad and deliver a package.
Where did you receive this package from?
The lady
Location?
in Zyla,
Where exactly?
a bar,
Which bar?
Holman's Rest. You know, little dive at the end of Promenade.
What did this lady look like?
Red hair, real fancy type, had her hair in a bun.
Izumi thinks for a moment.
Yes,
Is there any check for this to see if they're telling the truth, or
You give me an insight. You can tell he's like being straight with you. He's just confused, like, okay, why you asking me questions? Did I do something?
I want to give you guidance, Izumi.
Oh yeah.
Well,
okay?
I'm also making my own insight.
21.
So
You can
Izumi
tell
can
this-
roll D4.
Okay, so 16 plus a d4.
Hey!
20. Hey, so 20 and 21. You can tell this guy. He's kind of. He's like telling you. He's like telling you the at least bare bones truth. Because he does. He doesn't know if he's getting in trouble or not. Or whatever he got caught into, but. Feels like he kind of knows more than he's letting on.
Izumi moves the stool up to get up close to him.
How he has
Take
two
out a-
people in his
Takes
face.
out an alchemist's fire, holds it between herself and him, and just tells him, "Continue."
Wait, what are you doing? You gonna? Are you 80? Are you down with something? You gonna blow us up?
I said,
Izumi,
"Continue."
what did we tell you about blowing up our home?
Nothing.
Nothing.
That's right! Go ahead!
I wish to know more about who delivers this package. I mean, who gave you this package?
What are your passive perceptions?
You have a +5 to this now, by the way.
Oh, I do.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you have
18.
advantage to 18, 6. Actually, with your 18, you do notice something.
Mhm.
What he kind of tugs at his bandana, kind of like the sort of gulp. You could have swore there was something on his neck.
Beep, beep.
Also, you're standing next to the fire. He don't got a shadow.
Yeah. Fucking thought so.
Izumi
You
gets up close
bastards.
to him and slowly starts taking off his scarf.
Hey, what are you doing?
Stay still for me.
Look, I just got hired to deliver a package. All right, I'm not interested, miss.
Izumi continues taking off the scarf to inspect his neck.
Contested athletics check because he ain't letting you go. Try and snatch his scarf.
Would I give Izumi the help action?
Sure, because you're right next to him.
So roll again.
Yeah, I guess he tried to like Nelson him or something. Athletics.
9.
Hey, you can always roll lower.
Let's see. Looking at his stats. Do. Let's see. He kind of grabs the scarf like, hey, look, what's this all about? All right, I come here, I deliver a letter, and now folks want to try stripping me.
Izumi, looks at him, the fact that he's resisted, looks at the alchemist's
Mhm.
fire, and slowly starts to take the cork off the bottle.
Hey, wait.
Take off your scarf.
For what? I ain't got no tattoos.
Raises the alchemist.
Raises the alchemist's fire.
Hey, alright. And as he's taking off his scarf, because both of you are right there, make me an intelligence check as he's taking off his scarf.
Okay.
Damn.
Let me see something.
You have an inspiration, Katya. You can use it.
Yeah, you got
Alright.
inspiration. You can reroll.
There we go.
Yeah, that's better.
Would guidance work on this?
I mean, it's a check.
Yeah.
It's an ability check, so
Right.
yeah.
With guidance, intelligence.
Damn.
Wait, why did my guidance didn't roll?
Default.
Damn.
Okay. Actually, this is good enough.
Hmm.
He kind of noticed as he was taking off his scarf, his left hand, he was kind of rubbing them together, and Izumi, you don't see the little mark you saw earlier, but the two of you kind of put two and two together. Man's casted Minor Illusion.
Do you have the spell magic?
I don't, but I do have Minor Illusion as a spell, so I know it lasts a minute. So she's going to stare at his neck for a minute and 1 second.
Oh, if you're staring for a minute, make me an investigation check real quick.
Oh yeah, because minor illusion can be. Can minor illusion be overtaken by it?
No, but there's something else.
Oh, okay. Pretty good.
16. Looking at this guy, you kind of pierce through. It's weird. You could have swore this dude wasn't that pale, but he seems a whole lot paler, a whole lot gaunter. His eyes, before you saw they were like, oh, just normal, somewhat brown eyes, but are actually piercing deep red. His hair brown, but is actually a stark gray.
Would Izumi know much about vampires, considering, their line of work? Because I feel like in that sort of line of work, you kind of need to know at least a bit about vampires because they're kind of everywhere in Faerun.
I mean, if you wish. Well, I mean, vampire. Okay. Now that you see through his illusion, because this man's was under friggin' disguise self spell.
Ooh.
Make me either a Arcana or a Religion check with advantage.
Right, let's see.
Would I give guidance? Because I see he's been thinking real hard to themselves.
I guess sure. We'll say you can do.
Nice.
And a
20.
D4. Yeah.
23. Izumi, with your line of work in the criminal underworld, you know bits and pieces of some occult natures in the criminal element. One such, vampires. This man, however, seems to be low on the totem pole. A vampire spawn. Usually the underlings of vampires that carry out their dirty work. And this guy's floundering because he's figured you've caught him.
Okay. Izumi looks at Malum and asks Malum to take care of our guest. And he stands up, rescrews the cork on the alchemist's fire, and begins walking towards Maramil and Isobel.
Alright. Meanwhile, Maramil and Isobel, you look at this letter. It seems blank, but there's a smell of citrus.
Do you have a candle, Maramil?
No candle, but what's it called? Yeah, like so Maramil will kind of like click their finger. Tiamat's flame. As
That works too.
yeah, they produce flame.
Alright, with the flame underneath the aforementioned paper, you see a message appear. Let's see. To whom it may concern, come to Maxio Hall within the city of Zyla, and it seems to be an address. Sincerely, F. Maxio.
Can I roll like any sort of check to see if I know this name?
Wait, what did you say? Sorry.
Can I roll any sort of check to see if I know the name?
I probably wouldn't.
How long have you been in the city of Zyla? 'Cause that will depend on the check.
I mean, she hasn't been here too often without the party. But I feel like she's been in most places given how long she's lived. At least once or twice.
Given the nature of this individual, give me a history check with disadvantage.
I'll give you guidance because yeah.
20 and then plus a d4. 23.
Nice.
23.
History is my thing, apparently.
You've heard, like... Now, you kind of remember, back when you were in the city, you could have sworn you heard that name pop up once from the guards who, Zackary had talked to, and they seem to have, well, cold expressions. So they seem to be, this individual seems to be a very influential person in the city, though you don't know much else about them.
That's interesting. Izumi, what did you find out about our friend? And I assume you sterilized all your tools before use?
They are a vampire spawn working for somebody. I believe the person who wanted this message delivered.
Oh. And could you describe? Did you get any description of this person?
Yeah, they proceed to describe the location and the description of the person.
Get
Does that
Zackary
right
up from behind the bar.
Oh, what do you say?
Get Zackary from behind the bar.
Yes, this almost definitely concerns him. Miss Izumi, I trust you to work with Isobel here in order to collect your information. I will see if I can break it to Zackary gently.
Understood.
Isabel will kind of show Izumi the message.
Izumi reads it and just returns it to you.
How good are you at demolition work in case things go south?
Excuse me?
Demolition work, blowing up a building.
I'm pretty good at that, yes.
If we go to this meeting and things go south, we need to have a trump card.
That I can secure. I do lack the ordnance for that currently. However,
We'll look into it then.
aside from the money we've accumulated so far, I could use some of it to acquire stock.
Okay. What about our friend there? Does he seem of any worth to our mysterious messenger?
Wait, who? What?
The vampire spawn.
I've no idea.
Hmm.
I'm not quite sure how vampire spawns work, so... Oh, we need to get an expert on that.
Ask one of the clerics. I'm sure Maramil knows.
And yeah, so Maramil approaching. I quite expected it to, but no. Unfortunately, there was no poison gas or explosion. Merely a letter.
That's
Written
even
in
worse. Go ahead.
written in invisible text. Of course, a trifle thing for people of our ilk. Now, this may prove quite distressing, but it also may prove quite intriguing for those keeping their eyes on our every move. How do you feel, dear Zackary, about plays of revenge?
Fuck, how to describe this? You know that gif, where it's like a guy looking at the camera and he has a concerned expression, but his mouth kind of twitches into a smile for like half a second. I'm not sure how to describe it precisely, but Zackary seems to be going through like a wide range of
The stages of
emotions.
grief.
Yeah, stages of grief. What's it called? He seems to be kind of like, getting his wires crossed, so to speak. And he says, "How so?"
Well, the first act of a play always sets up the characters, sets up their goals, their dangers, their desires. But the purpose of a first act is also to leave possibilities open for the second and third. It will not always go the way you expect. In fact, it is more interesting for the audience to not expect it. Your first act, may I say this, portrays hopelessness, despair, anguish, a trapping. But if it were to continue on to the second act, well, that would be an awfully boring result for a play, going exactly the way the audience expects it to. So, this news will, once again, bring a concern, but also an opportunity. We believe that that messenger over there and the message we have received must come from, and leans in kind of quietly, one of your previous benefactors who wishes you to come home, the prodigal son.
Home. Is that the word they used?
I believe it is the word that they would attribute to it. However, well, we can let them believe that. I believe. If we go with them, and willingly, seemingly, that can allow us for a great opportunity of, well, turning this tragedy into a revenge play. There's this quote I like from this one play that I sat in on in my younger years. Look like the innocent flower would be the serpent underneath it. Are you familiar with that one?
Am I familiar with that one?
Out of character. That's a quote from Macbeth.
Well, you see, there's a times where the player is not super familiar with the source material, but I believe the character would probably know something to it.
Mm-hmm.
He will kind of nod along and say, Maramil, are you perhaps a patron of the arts yourself and you never told me?
Oh, it's been a very long time since I sat in on a play. But, let's just say, my family used to be the patron of a troupe, and I would often sit in on the balconies and watch below. It was a simpler time, but I am, rather, well immersed in the arts. I claim no talent when it comes to performing or creating, but I do know a good storyline when I see or hear it.
And would you say this is that time in the story where the returning triumphant return of my own character would rise up against the tyranny of my former benefactors?
I will be frank. Things are never final in the second act, but we can set it up so that the third act will grant us unforgettable gains. It will be difficult, and we may not make out with victory. But that is only a sign that that third act will be much, much sweeter.
Could you roll me like a general charisma check?
Yeah, sure. Damn.
12.
It's Oh, actually, what's your alignment?
Hold on. You were saying neutral evil?
Oh, yeah. Okay, well, that means that is actually, yeah, still a 12.
Thanks. What's it called? Zackary
What's it
will
called? I will like stack guidance onto that. Damn, 13.
Zackary will say, the dialogue needs work, but the spirit is there.
Nah. Well, I suppose spirit is always a starting point. A required starting point, if I do say so myself.
However, you are correct. The only way to see how a story ends is to continue it to its conclusion. And staying here, locked in this place, with not even a proper stage set up. He looks at the 3 boxes that he set up the night before. Is going to, I fear, in the future, merely dull my senses for the arts the longer we stay. He kind of stands up and, kind of dusts himself off. He adjusts his collar, his outfit, and he says, "What do the rest of our fellow actors think about this?"
Well, Miss Izumi and Isobel are currently making plans and discussing information that you will most likely be able to help them collate, while our friend Malum over there is keeping our sanguine inclined guest company. By the way, what should we do with this miscellaneous, nameless messenger character?
The saying often goes, "Do not shoot at the messenger." Unless. At least I believe that's how it goes.
That is quite true, yes.
If he's a spawn of my former benefactors, perhaps he may just be following orders without a choice. I believe his living return to my benefactors will send a message that we are professionals.
I suppose that as the main character taking the spotlight in this act, we should follow your lead. Go, if you will, to the side room with Miss Izumi and Isobel. Malum Umbra,
Me?
you may let our friend here go. I believe he has run his course.
I mean, he seems a bit hungry. Should we feed him?
Oh. No.
You say that, Malum. You do see he's kind of licking his out the corner of his eyes, kind of licking his lips a little bit. You almost see like a fang, because well, it's not alter self, but you still see the fang peeking through the illusion a tad bit, and he's trying to compose himself, but should I? Should
You
I
know,
break
sir,
the
if you
blade?
attack me, you will die.
That is quite true. Malum Umbra here has managed to kill quite a few people. But fear not. Maramil is going to like kind of like take like a little vial and wrap it in like some cloth. Like just kind of like actually yeah, like back here is going to take a vial. Cut themselves, drip a little of blood into the vial, and then cover it with a sheet. And use prestidigitation to make it. Oh, actually, no, I don't have prestidigitation. I do have thaumaturgy. Will that help me? Fuck up, like. No, it doesn't.
What were you
no.
trying to do?
I was basically trying to like help remove the smell. It's fine. I can like.
I mean, I can't help you with that.
Yeah.
As you cut yourself, hold up. Actually, I gotta make a check for him real quick.
Oh yeah, because they have like good senses. Should I roll like a stealth, or do you me to use my passive stealth? Because that's a 9.
You'll no, I'm making a check for him.
Yeah.
Let's see. Does he keep his composure? Or does it give it to the hunger? He's a spawn. I'll give him disadvantage.
Oh shit!
Damn.
So Ben's kind of composes himself, but you see the face of someone who hasn't eaten in a day, in like 3 days, and they're trying to keep everything together.
Maramil will like coat this this vial that's basically like filled, because like they very much like they're not just like putting like a little few droplets. Like Maramil's giving this guy like like he looks fucking parched. So Maramil will kind of like go up to Malum, kind of like use cure wounds to kind of like seal up this sacrificial superficial cut, and kind of quickly ask like, "Well, Umbra, if you please deodor this."
Yeah. What do we want it to smell like?
Well, do whatever. It's less important. Just make it not delicious.
He makes it smell like spiders.
Pretty good. Maramil will kind of pass the vial that's like covered in like the cloth. Can't see it, can't smell it, knows that it's that, but the senses aren't being like overwhelmed with it. Maramil will kind of like slip it to this guy's hand, and this is like a full vial as well. So Maramil will say, "One for the road. Enjoy the taste of corruption. Go along now."
As you see him kind of walk out, you both would see him as he's kind of passing the little the entryway. He just scarfs it down. You might have inadvertently get, and then as soon as he kind of sips, he just. It's like a kid who just had a Capri Sun for the first time and starts squeezing it.
Yeah.
And he just downs the whole vial. You may have given him something more than he expected, because he might have just been dead spiders and rats before.
Oh, fuck yeah. Oh, no. I'm sure that'll be fine.
And then again, if it isn't, and he starts attacking people, that means more quest for us.
It's true.
So yeah, you inadvertently gave a vampire spawn a sugar rush. And-
We're so good at like creating income for ourselves.
Yeah.
May or may not come back later.
Maybe with a name this time.
Yeah, we'll put that a pin in that for now. So
This
yes,
Have consequences. Can't wait to see him in Act 3 when we get to Baldur's Gate.
I hate you. Oh boy. Anyway, new vampire lord. Oh Lord. Anyways, so with that new revelation, what do y'all's do?
What's it called? Zackary was instructed to go to the side room here with Izumi and Isobel. So he just kinda walks up and says, Maramil said it was my turn in the side room.
So, Mr. Zackary, what do you know about vampires?
A lot. He just kinda
How do we
sits
blow
down.
one up?
Go ahead.
How do we blow one up?
Well, that's not a question I believe I've been asked.
That's a new one.
That's a new one. I am one. He will say, fire is very good to stop their regenerative abilities. Though I suppose anything of the holy variety could be useful as well. Can you load up your explosive contraptions with, say, holy water? Or the pure concentrated power of the sun?
I believe I can do one of those.
Which is...
For holy water.
rats.
I'm not sure how holy Maramil's water might be, though. We might have to find an actual cleric.
Damn.
You have two clerics. Neither of them give you holy water.
Yeah, got Andy.
SpongeBob popcorn. What's it called? So hold on, could you repeat what Izumi said?
Saying we wouldn't, like we'd probably want to, like Maramil probably couldn't really create holy water. We might need to get an actual cleric.
Zackary shrugs and says, I suppose we could. If I understood the situation correctly, my former benefactors are asking us to meet directly within their territory, which means they will have, as the cool kids say nowadays, the home field advantage.
We simply need to blow up the home field then, don't we?
I'm afraid that may not be enough. My benefactors have a lot of secrets, some even hidden from myself, though I was a number of years within their service. They more than likely have a backup plan in case their property was damaged.
What do you suggest then? I can only assume a frontal assault.
I would suggest
Not go well.
I would suggest we make them think we are playing their game. But in reality, they will be playing checkers while we play dragon chess.
Izumi starts thinking about what you just said and continues being silent.
we will make them think that we are acting according to their specifications. But we must have an eye out on them from ahead of time. I would suggest we send. Oh, hold on. Did we already send back a message to them or not?
No.
With the guy?
No.
I would suggest we send back a message specifying a date of our arrival. But prior to that date, we should do some investigations of ourselves.
Someone
After all,
said break-in.
turns around. What is it?
Someone said you needed a break-in.
Perhaps, well, more so a to be able to prepare a situation ahead of time that will be beneficial to ourselves. After all, some of the greatest stories of our time include, well, a battle of the minds, as it were.
Well,
Go ahead.
let's start with information on our contractor, or the person, and the building plans. Give me a second, I'll see what I can find. Bard, archive.
Alright. So what you trying to find?
First of all, I'm trying to find any and all records on who our mystery man over there has worked with in the past. Or, well, the one who gave us, not the one who gave us the letter, the one who's on the letter.
The person on the letter.
Yeah.
F Maxio.
Yep.
You try all that you can. Aside from the letter, aside from 2 letters, those are the only things that you can find.
Well, I'll copy down the contents of both letters. I also look for, because it has an address listed, any building plans and list of people who live in that area.
It's strange. You find the address. There's no building plans. Like, no blueprints, no nothing. Almost like it sprang out of nowhere.
No list of occupants of the area either?
Aside from it being Greenview district in the city of Zyla. Nothing else aside from the address. Residents of
Maxio.
House Maxio.
Can I use my knowledge on the Infernal to see if I can find any devils having gone by that pseudonym before? Like a pseudonym similar to that?
You don't find any pseudonyms of that name. Almost as if these people know how to cover their tracks.
Alright, in that case, Isobel kind of just comes back to reality. Oh, there goes gravity. With I found one other letter, copy down. The building seems to have sprung up out of nowhere. And F. Maxio is a complete mystery. Like his entire existence sprung up out of nowhere. Definitely a fake name. Or something. They managed to wipe all trace of their existence from an eternal archive that contains every text ever written. From song lyrics, to plays, to government secrets.
You know, not all people write things down, right?
Yes. But the thing is, there are no construction plans. Which means that this place wasn't built normally, because if those plans ever existed, they'd be within the archive.
Or they just winged it.
There would be some sort of record from City Hall, or something from the city itself. Even if they were bribed.
I heard of a story of a person who just built a house because they could.
Oh my god, no, you're not referencing that, are you, Jericho?
I'm definitely referencing something that, like, I'm referencing an Odyssey thing.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. I thought you were referencing like an actual thing because there was a story of a guy who just built a house because he could,
Mm.
and it was a horrible design.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, so there's a lot of discrepancies coming here. So my first thought was because Maxio doesn't even have a birth certificate or anything. I looked for all information related to him.
Big ass airplane. Sorry, hold on.
Which, you know, brings me to the conclusion Maxio isn't their original name, of course. So then I looked through known pseudonyms of devils. No matches there. Doesn't, of course, rule out the possibility of it being infernal in nature. But it definitely raises some concerns.
Why did we need to meet them at their place?
Yeah, they said, "Hey, yo, come to our house." Never specified a date. They just said, "Hey, come to our house."
What's it called? Zackary will, first of all, will turn to look at Isobel and will say, "Yes, I would imagine that as the years go on, they get tired of their old names. So perhaps the name that I met them as may not be the same that they go by today, or was even their original one when I met them. As for why we need to meet them at their place, Mr. Malum, well, these, my former benefactors, are prideful individuals. They will not agree to do something unless they know they have the, cards under their sleeves, so to speak. Which makes them extremely difficult to set an ambush for in any other location. You see, they even have their own private, built-in entertainment center, so to speak, where they get serenaded by their own, musicians and their place. I know that place all too well."
And what was the goal of your benefactors? What are they trying to reach? Power, money, information?
A number of things, Mr. Malum. My former benefactors had their proverbial fingers in every person's pie of the city. Politicians, authorities, figures of prominence, traders. They build their very own empire right underneath the noses of the common folk.
How about a possible nobleman from outside of the city?
Raise an eyebrow.
Would they, hypothetically, if one nobleman would send them an invite to meet them at their location, would they?
They had plenty of dignitaries come visit them, and they often went away on journeys, leaving us, Spawn, to have, the place guarded, as it were, until they returned. I think I was referring to it was called Governhouse. Okay. Zackary will say, "It is possible that should the offer be enticing enough, we may be able to yet bring them to a location most favorably. Though it will be extremely difficult to change their mind once it's made up. The offer would need to be considerably, like I said, enticing to them."
Stall contracts?
Could be. They did have a taste for the occult and obscure.
I've got ins with devils and I can make contracts for souls. I surely have something they want.
He nods along and says, "That could be a start. But it sounded, Mr. Malum, that you had something to add on to that."
I mean, hypothetically, I could add on that. You know, I don't really use my last name a lot, but I could, and we are some of the most important people down in the underworld. Underground. So I could use my name.
Ah, I see what you're trying to do. The old switcheroo to be able to promise my former benefactors an allegiance with your noble house of the Underdark in order to lure them out of their zone of comfort.
Mm-hmm. I could.
He nods and says, I am liking this already. First, we lure them in with the promise of an allegiance with a noble house. Then we sweeten the deal with a occult power such as soul contracts.
But this problem will be, what place do we pick? Because they already know of this safe house.
Bard, would I know of another location that could potentially draw their eye? And, you know, may potentially serve us?
Given you, given your given how long you've worked for them, quote unquote, you do know they have another villa that's a little ways outside of the city that they'll sometimes go to. It's not as defended as Maxio Hall, but it's out of the way enough to where it's even territory for both of you. I.e., you're not getting lair actions.
So you said what place is this? You said?
There's a they have a villa.
A villa.
I'll place down the name of the villa, because I know you're gonna ask that. Let's see. Hold up. Let me see. Where's that friggin' villa again? Okay. Aha. Think I found it. Let's see. There. So you've got okay. Oh, here. Had it in. I had it in the wrong friggin' tab. Alrighty. You would know it as Domus Rosae, or the House of Roses.
There is a place, a villa, not nearly as well defended as any other location we could choose, but it is at the very least far removed enough that I don't believe my benefactors would have any particular advantage or drawback. It is called the Mus Rossai.
The problem is we couldn't very well trap that villa as well, right?
Unless we were to prepare the location ahead of time.
I have a few. Oh, go on.
Oh, yeah, no, go ahead.
I have a few concerns, Zackary.
I do too, but maybe not about the same things that you do. Please, speak up.
Firstly, if you are an Empire spawn, how can we trust you in the situation?
Oh, you seem to have, you seem to be confused. I am not even good enough to be a vampire spawn in the eyes of my benefactors. I have abilities similar to one, yes, but not nearly on the level of strength as any of them.
So this vampire lord holds no sway over you?
Not anymore.
I'll take your word for now. Second concern. What's in it for me?
Stares at you. Why? The ability to create one of the greatest stories of our generations.
As much as I appreciate a good story, at the end of the day, I'm in this line of work to get paid.
They are rich and have lots of stuff. Take your pick.
Yeah.
Izumi just kind of looks at everyone else at the table.
Maramil kind of just shrugs and says, "Well, I'm very much eager to help Zackary out. And if it's upfront payment you need, Miss Izumi, I can provide it."
Alright, consider me hired for this job then.
Maramil fishes in their pouch and says, "Well, I'm not entirely sure how much mercenaries are meant to be paid. I hope you don't mind me using that word. But here, perhaps this will suffice." Placing down 150.
Malum will put back on stuff back 100 back to you and place down 10 platinum pieces of his own. To help Zackary, a friend of mine in these days, I'm always happy to help. Plus, if we manage to steal more than that, you can always pay me back.
Right, so 250?
150.
Still 150. It's just Malum takes 2/3 of the payment.
Yeah. And, Maramil will actually, extend a hand to you, Izumi.
Izumi shakes.
Consider yourself hired, Miss Izumi. Pleasure doing business with you. And, Bard, I'm gonna ask you something. Because Isobel has her ability to, she has, the bargaining chip of, I can help you do contracts. Malum is a noble. Izumi can easily be a bodyguard for any one of us. I'm gonna ask you for, a deep cut. Of,
A
a
deep
dark
cut. A deep cut. Okay, what y'all want to do?
I want to ask you if Maramil would have done any sort of research on Kenkelsis, the second edition Lord of Vampires
The
and God of
freak!
Blood.
The freak you say, man. See, I'm gonna give you another inspiration just for that, cause friggin' hey, I ain't hear anybody mention that name since I started running Ravenloft. Cause
Yeah.
God,
It's been 84 years.
friggin' hey. You know what? You know what? Given your air, given where you're from, give me a religion check with advantage.
Yep. I'll give myself guidance as well. Okay, that's a 14.
Wait, did we lose?
15, 16, 17. Indy.
No, we lost another one. Right?
Somebody dropped?
Oh,
Friggin' internet.
yeah.
That was Bard.
Anyway,
That was Bard, yeah.
It's a 17.
17. Now, you don't know too much worship of Kelsis, the Lord of Blood, but there are some vampires within uh the, within within Evan Spire that do worship him. An old dark god, an old power that some say came from, still has sway in the ethereal plane, more specifically in in a domain of dread. To a for a vampire, especially one to study and collect the interesting occult items, that might be very enticing.
Okay. Yeah. Maramil kind of like places a hand on that chin and asks Zackary, I would like to ask a question of my own, dear Zackary. Were your benefactors prone to collecting vintage wines, gems, furs, perhaps opiates?
Most definitely. Their estate is quite lavish.
In that case, there is a chance that they already worship the Lord of Blood. But if they do not, I suppose I could appeal to them. As a preacher and priest of all the world's evils, I happen to have some information on the dark, vampiric god Kenkelsis, and perhaps I can, with some persuasion, work my way in alongside Malum, Umbra, and Isobel.
Intriguing.
And as for Miss Izumi, I can imagine that you, well, have your pick of whom you wish to play the bodyguard for. I will, of course, be having my own companion along for the ride, but the choice is yours.
I don't particularly mind.
In that case, a nobleman always needs his guard.
I
I'm
see.
sure the
Go ahead.
two of you will have the utmost fun together.
I see it. The story is coming together. The script is being written in front of our own eyes. shall lure them in with the promise of an allegiance with a noble house and the potential services of a follower of the most dark arts, while enticing them with the promise of even more occult power. And then we will spring a most devious machinations of plans and traps that Miss Izumi may hold for us. And I'm just there, I guess.
You are the linchpin of all of this. While we are executing the plans to entice them and then strike, you will be our guide to the entire mansion. You will be telling us what you need us to do. We are your army, but you, in this play of ours, are the king. So, we'll trust you to use your pawns for this game at your pleasure and disposal.
One thing, and it's only when either writing to your benefactors or speaking to me right in front when we're going undercover, you will call me Malum, Umbra, Luta. And if any of you need training in how to behave and stuff like that, I'm more than happy to help. Although I don't like to play by the rules, I know every single one of them.
While you all continue work on the brilliant plan that we surely will concoct, I'm going to walk up and have a little conversation with my dear Karina. She will be useful for this. After all, she is quite used to living in a veritable fortress. And this will be quite the learning experience for her, entering the lair of the beast and the mansion of the rake. I do hope that you all don't mind her rather icy attitude, though for some of you, I believe that that is the thing that will make you get along with her.
There is one thing that you said, Maramil, that is wrong.
No? What may that be?
You
Dear
are
Zackary?
not my pawns, you are my fellow actors. And every actor, big or small, plays their part, and if they play their part right, that leads to a greater piece of art to be created.
Quite right, dear Zackary. So, for all around this table, let's work hard to be able to proudly bow at the curtain call.
Izumi, like, as you say that, Izumi, like, mutters to the big explosion at the end.
And Maramil will take their leave for now.
Alright. As your plans are being laid bare,
Deception.
subterfuge and skullduggery befall us, what shall we come up against next time on Keeper's Daggers of Darkhold?
So we call session here.
Let's go.
That was good, y'all.
Did you end the recording, 40?
Not yet. What's it called? But I just want to say something before we wrap up the recording. You know, I think I really like this, y'all. You know, I think everybody did a pretty good roleplay. What's it called? And just to do the quick outro, for the video. Those of you who are watching this, you know, who made it all the way to the end of the video, please continue watching the rest of our sessions. Every like, every view, every subscription makes us feel better about ourselves, but also makes us glad to share what we enjoy with everybody else. For now, this will be it for us.
Wait, can I plug my Twitch?
Please, no, but please
Damn it.
comment, because we love to read your comments.
Exactly. And don't worry, Tom, if you really want me to plug your Twitch that much, I'll put in the description.
No, I'm joking. I'm joking. I'm joking.
Well, yeah. Peace out, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye.